to the bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico. You're talking to the bad guy. Toothpicking your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, yo. Look, something happened to these, something happened to you, okay?
What's going on with everybody, man? It's your boy, playing on SMACM World. I got a very special guest. Please introduce yourself.
I'm John Fisher, the head coach of Stone County High School.
Man, most definitely,
Head
man.
football coach.
Head football coach. Man, put some respect on your name, man. You got to put some respect on your name, but Coach Fisher, man, how we do on SMACM World, we give everybody their flowers, man. First of all, thank you for what you do for the community of Stone County, the high school, leading those young men to be great in the classroom and also out the classroom. And you also done that from your hometown of Picayune, just being, minister to the young men on how to be conductive in society and how you be productive. I can keep going on and on, man. I just respect what you do as a man and as a coach. But most importantly, as a man, you do a great job. You're a great husband, a great father, man. And also was a great football player once upon a time. So that's definitely what I want to hear. I'm really looking forward to hearing that. So I know the person. I know John, the person, but I also want to hear some stories about the football player as well. So I'm looking forward to that, man.
Okay. Hopefully I can hear you something, man.
Yeah, most definitely, man. So look, this is my second week in a row wearing the same thing with my guests. Well, last week Brian had all black on. I said, I'm gonna do it just to get a little cool outside.
I saw that.
I said, dang, everybody think I'm trying to dress like my guests, but man, I'm looking forward to talking to you about hearing your journey, man. So let's start it off, man. You started off at Picayune High. Let's go there. Football, man. What was football and school to you as a freshman, man? Going on through the
I always say, man, first give honor to the Lord of God, man, but football changed my life, man. I tell people that all the time. You gotta let it be a vehicle to drive you through life, and if you use it, it's more than just a game. It can be beneficial to you. So I've lived a football life, and I'm appreciative and grateful for everything that football has gave to me. But it started out, man, like I say, it started out at Picayune, man. I played 1 year youth football. Mama didn't really want me to play, and she finally let me play. My grandmother, at the time, was Lucy May, bless her soul, and my mother's soul, signed me up, man, and the rest is history, man, pretty much, because the reason I say that, I'm not nearly one of the best to come through there. I feel like, people like to mention my name, but I'm from a hometown where we have a lot of talent. But I was blessed to make it out. And I always tell people, growing up there in the 90s, man, it was tough to get out. We didn't really know. We just knew, we just wanted to play football. But I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to do something different. And so, my freshman year, I got switched to linebacker. I started playing linebacker as a freshman. Okay. And they had a coaching change, and when I went on into 10th grade, man, I was blessed to be around some good guys, man. To name some of them, I always like to give them his flowers. Nicholas Wash, one of the best to ever do it, to ever put on pads at Picayune, one of the best athletes ever. But he was a tailback, Daniel Hart, Corey Johnson, Nick Wilkes, Nick Wilson, just a lot of guys, man, that I was up under. As a sophomore, playing on a great team, I played nose guard, and back then everybody played that with 50. I played nose guard, and we would switch to that 4-4 stack, and I just went back play linebacker, so we didn't have to switch personnel. So I was able to get my feet wet with some great guys, man. Won a district championship in 1998.
Oh yeah, man, I remember that time, man. We were talking about it a couple weeks ago before the South State Championship game, and I was like, man, I remember when y'all came to Gulfport and beat my Admirals in '98, and my dad was working in NASA at the time. And a lot of his coworkers was from Picayune, and they were giving him a hard time. I told him we can beat Gulfport, and I just thought about that, man. I was like, yeah, Picayune always been good. It's always been a great program. You come from there, it shows that they made you guys better off the field as well. Like, you a coach right now. We'll get into that later, but it just seemed like they had a great program.
Yeah, man, we always had. I always tell people, Picayune is competitive time. Our rec programs and just coming up very, very competitive. And so we had to compete, man. And back then, man, if you didn't go hard, you got left at home. Yeah. And so, like you said, we beat Gulfport my junior year in 1998. I'll never forget that night. I always say I got the game set.
Clinch and set,
But it gets some great players, man. I look back on that night, Ronald Jones on the football field, Antonio Knox, Carlos Leggett, Rod Davis, Bobby Boone, I mean, just to name a few. So, those are memories, man, great memories. And like I say, I always say, man, nights like that, Friday Night Lights, looking back at it, I think that's what kind of pulled me back into coaching.
Right. So, you answered the question that I'm gonna still ask though. So, far as football, man, what was your most comfortable position? Was it? I know you said you played on the 50 point, you played on the line, then when you got in the 4-4 stack, you played back. So, what was the most comfortable position for you? In high school.
In high school, it was linebacker. Yeah. It was linebacker because I was a student of the game, studied the game. Back then we didn't have huddle, but I watched film.
Yeah.
I paid attention when coach talked. I just paid attention to different things, and so linebacker was natural for me. But looking back at it, I always tell my friends, I wish I stayed on the defensive line.
Yeah.
Because learning now, that's the easiest position to dominate high school football. Great ball, get off a great effort, you can dominate high school football.
We just talked about that as well. Like a person that plays on the D line, you can't block them all night. Be disruptive, he'll give you offensive problems. So I don't care what you're doing. If you can't block him, then the best play you right up. That's what Coach Jess used to tell me. I don't care what we do. If we don't block the D line, it don't matter what we run. So you're right about that.
Because we had some good defensive linemen I played when I always like to give them a shout out. My boy Willie Coleman, his son Dexter Coleman was at Hancock this past year. Okay. And Dominic Dodell, big flex, we call him a freak.
Yeah.
One night he had 8 tackles for loss. Everybody thought he had 8 sacks. He was getting off the ball like that. So, but man, I wish I would have just played defensive line. I mean, to be honest with you. But linebacker was natural because, I wasn't the freak as far as athleticism, but, I got the job done because I was a student of the game.
Yeah, man, please, I'm glad you're telling that. You admit, you're honest with yourself saying, look, man, I was good, but I wasn't athletic as most linebackers, so I had to watch film. Please tell people that's watching this, especially young athletes, high school, like how much they have huddle now.
It's unlimited.
Oh my God, I wish we had huddle going up back then. Like, tell them how important it is to learn tendencies, practice on your eye recognition, especially at back in the linebacker. You have to have eye recognition. You have to read the guards and tackles. They tell you to play. So tell them how important that is.
Well, it's so important. Like I always told even my teammates in high school, I'd be like, you gotta trust your eyes, because what you see is what it is. Your eyes are not gonna lie to you. So it's very important to watch film. And I just say it like this: if you respect something, you're gonna give it your all. So if you respect it, you're gonna watch film. And that respect for something will take you a long way. And so my respect for the game is what elevated my game. I just had unlimited respect for the game of football.
Absolutely. Man, the guy you mentioned, Antonio Knox, he was one of those guys that I was up under, and he was, when we got older, he was kind of telling me what made him a great player is watching film. He knew when to squeeze on the block. He knew when it was gonna be a boot. He never got sucked up in on that play action. So film is so important, man. I'm just trying to stress the kids that we bring in the gym, man. You don't have to watch film, man. That separates that gap.
If you respect it, no one's going to make you do it.
Come on,
so
man.
You gotta have respect.
I like that.
You gotta have respect for it.
I like that. I like that.
That's I always tell you. That's what got me through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, man, what was your most memorable game at PQU, and what was the top school? What we just asked the memorable game, and we'll go to the next question. Memorable game you had at PQU.
The most memorable game I had. There's a lot of games, but I was hurt. My junior, I got hurt at the end of my junior year. I missed about 4 or 5 games. And, being a team captain, being a leader of the team, I always wanted to be out there with my brothers. So coming back, they get Stanislaus. They beat us. They won second in the district. Columbia won the district that year. So going to my senior year, I marked the schedule. We circled it. Hancock.
Yeah.
Because Hancock beat us that year. I was hurt. St. Stanislaus beat us. And we lost to Columbia. Played for state championship that year. So mark those 3 games. But I remember, I never forget my head coach coming to me getting ready to play St. Stanislaus. I was stretching, and he said, let's win the district championship, and you be the reason we do it. And I had a big game, and I had like 4 sacks.
Took it personal.
Took it personal. Probably, I love Lil Wayne, Cash Money growing up.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
I never forget my homie was standing on the fence. he said, we was talking about Santiago, them my boys.
Yeah.
Said, little boy shot up your block. So I said, now I got to get him. You know what I'm saying? So, the block
is hot, baby.
block is hot, man.
Yeah.
We know how it was going up back then. So, but yeah, that game there, man, we solidified this championship and we got upset. And I tell my kids this. So my most memorable game, that's my most memorable game, but the one I remember the most is losing the first round playoff game in George County. And so, and that's why I always tell kids, I remember my failures more than I remember the good things.
Man.
So that's what keeps you working. Keeps you. So
keep you humble.
Yeah, keep you humble.
Absolutely.
Keep you humble as well. But yeah, man, that St. Stanislaus game was huge for us that night, and we went on. We beat all of them.
Yeah.
I said we shut down. We shut down Stanislaus. They running back had 3 straight 200 yards rushing games coming in. Chris Cannon, and he had 13 yards against us.
Damn.
Chris Goff, bless his soul, man, one of the best athletes I ever seen. He had 3 straight 200-yard games. We beat them 27-0. We had him 150 yards.
Wow.
So,
put him in the box. Put him in the box, man.
Yeah.
So, man, you did mention Lil Wayne, man. Cash Money was in the 90s, man. You know that's something to listen to. So, what album were you listen to before the 4 sacks or that big game? What album? Because we rocking CDs back then.
We had no CDs.
We had the CDs with the headphones. You better hope the batteries
we trade CDs. The mama and them went buying them, so we trade CDs.
Right.
So, that game I was listening to the Block is Hot. I was listening, I remember when he dropped it, and that and 400 Degrees.
Yeah.
When I wanted to get my mind right, I thought, but I'm an Outkast, Good in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
That's my 2 sides.
Man,
So,
my favorite Outkast song is Liberation.
Babylon. Me, okay,
But I'm wondering, my dad was buying the CDs.
Yeah.
So I really don't supposed to listen to them, but man, hey, Daddy got this collection here. My dad had Scarface, Tupac, all that. He was a music lover, so he said you better not repeat what you hear on the song.
I still listen to 400 Degrees.
Absolutely.
Get my mind right.
So now, let's get to your senior year, big year. You had a great year, but did y'all lose the first round?
We lost first
round.
round.
So tough.
Lit us up. I got to get to it.
Yeah.
Lit us up.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah. He was a problem.
He was a problem.
He was a problem, man. So it's time to make decisions, man, at this time. Senior year, and I was talking to you about how I was really lost as a student athlete. I didn't really even understand what recruiting was. What was it for you once y'all lost that first round? December comes, the dead periods. The coaches are coming to the field house now. Are you getting any love? Are you getting any interest?
Well, I'm gonna start like this here because I was probably more lost than you because a lot of guys where I'm from, they didn't have the opportunity to go to college. So at the time, everybody was going to Prairie Community College. They wasn't winning that time. I didn't want to go to Prairie Community College. Right. But at the same time, by a lot of guys not going, the only person I knew that went was a guy named Greg Walls with TCU in 1997. Okay. So he was like one of my childhood, sports heroes from a school standpoint. So I didn't know anything about recruiting. My dad, when I spent, I call him my dad, man. He's my godfather, but he's my daddy to me. Ryan Dees and my father, my biological father, passed away in 2000. I like to give both of them their respect. So, but I didn't know a lot about it. We went and bought a lot of tapes from a guy that's just stopped doing videos for the year. And we sent him out. We spent over $300-something. But my big recruiting boost came from the old head coach at Gosha. I don't know his name. They was over there recruiting all them guys, business and all them guys. And he said, man, y'all seen this linebacker people? And they showed it to them, so they started coming in. But not knowing, I hadn't taken care of my business. Okay. I didn't take care of my business. So I wasn't Division I certified. Division I eligible.
Clearinghouse was
I didn't know about clearinghouse. I didn't know nothing. So
none of that.
So my first offer comes from Tulane in the end of my junior year. First offer comes from Tulane, and other schools started coming in, but I wasn't qualified. But we had a guy picking you named Mr. Larry Green, who was big on Jackson State football. Okay. We used to take 2 charter buses on Saturdays. Okay. So he said, well, John, Jackson State will take you, So I signed with Jackson State out there. Wow. Signed with Jackson State, but I thank God for his infinite wisdom at the time. I don't think I was ready for Jackson State at the time. So I finished camp, and I came back to Prairie Community College to humble myself. And I came back home and went to Pearl Community College, and that's where my college career started. But I didn't know anything about the recruiting game because a lot of people wasn't making it out. I didn't come from my family picky, and my uncles and stuff didn't have boys, so we wasn't a big sports family there. So I didn't know anything about it.
It was just lack of knowledge, man. Which is no one's fault. Like we're not pointing fingers at you. Just going back to now, like now you coming up on a situation, being a head coach. Hey, are these grades right? Let's line this. Let's check out everything. Grades. Right.
And it's the easy thing. With the grade scale, everybody on 10-point scale. Most schools try to tell you guys to take care of your business. If you take care of that, it's football. If it's for you to take care of yourself, but you got to take care of control the control. Control what you control. You control your grades.
Yeah, and back then JUCO was frowned upon too.
It was.
It was frowned upon because they would lock you. You couldn't go nowhere but pro.
Yeah, I couldn't go
nowhere but to go coach. So they would lock you, and it was just such a bad stigma to go to a junior college. Which I feel like I talk to those guys that I played with at Gulf Coast. I went to Gulf Coast. I still talk to them every day. Matter of fact, I talked to one before I came here. Larry Warner he was our running back.
Okay, Larry. He's coaching at
Texas Southern right now. So
okay.
it's like that bond you get with it, and we'll get onto your far as your career at Puerto Rico. So like, man, it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. When you get a chance to get re-recruited, then the coaches get a little more understanding of how to be recruited. So how was your experience at your junior college?
Man, mine was great. I always tell people you got to make the best of wherever you're at. And I almost didn't have the opportunity to come back because I was so arrogant, thinking I was big time.
Man, they don't even look like that. Well, like knowing you now, like
that was some humbling experiences. So I was arrogant from the standpoint I didn't want to go to Pearl River. But Coach Keith Daniels, bless his soul, gave me an opportunity to come back home, even after I really didn't talk to him coming out of high school because I didn't want to go there because all the guys that went before me, things didn't work out. So, but I ended up. Coach Daniels, bless his soul, he passed away mid-year, my freshman year. We finished out the season, and I go into next year after recruiting. Coach Scott Maxfield come in, William Jones, quite sure you probably ran into him on the recruiting circuit. They get in there, man, and I go into the season as preseason All-American my sophomore year, but I had to make the switch from defense into nose guard. And I got punished for working hard, but man, and it was. As a kid, it was up from there. Man. We had a great year. We turned it around in '72. Barely missed the playoffs, and our class was responsible for turning it around. And Cincinnati was my second offer. UCF was my first offer coming out. And but I had a bunch of offers coming out of there. Man, I was blessed. And I always tell people, if you're gonna take advantage of the opportunity to junior college, you'll be blessed as well. So I took the Cincinnati visit, and I loved it because I didn't get a chance to travel out home. So when I got up there, I'm from the east side of Picayune, Mississippi. I was blessed. I knew I was blessed, and I said, man, I'm coming.
Cincinnati, Ohio. So when you took your visit there, man, was it cold or was it a little bit?
It was cold. It was cold. It was cold, and it was a culture shock, but I needed it. And I knew I needed it. I could always come home. So I needed it. Yeah, it was cold. Snow. Like I say, when Jigga say kicking snow off frozen Timbs, that stuck with me. I've done that before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got you. What kind of jacket you had? Was it the north?
Well, you had, I ain't know. I went unprepared. So the homies like they said, you need some Timbs and you gotta have a bubble coat. They call it bubble coats. You had to get that out of Avrex. Just to see the rappers with it. We ain't know nothing about that down here.
We down south.
You really needed that.
Okay, so you did get a coach shot, man. So first time getting on the field, getting accumulating with the coaches and players, man. How was that experience?
Man,
Conference USA too, man.
It was an awesome experience, and like I say, and they were my pick because I knew I'd get a chance to play against Southern Miss, Tulane, UAB. We'd be back in Memphis, we'd be back close to home, but I also get that, I always tell kids, the education is outside the classroom in college. It's not in the classroom. It's the college experience itself, being around different guys. There's a lot of guys from Cali, New York, different places, being in the Midwest. That experience just being there taught me a lot about life. So, man, I've got great brotherhood with guys from the field. Things didn't work out the way we wanted it to work out, but it worked out how God wanted it to work out. So that's the biggest deal for me.
What time frame are we talking now? Is this 2001 and 2?
I graduated 02.
Okay.
Community
Yeah,
college.
yeah. I think I was telling you about the quarterback, man. I can't say his last name. I think the quarterback at Cincinnati, what was his name?
Gaduli. Offensive coordinator right
He
now.
came to a Steve McNair camp.
Yeah, you remember you telling me
Yeah,
that?
he came to a Steve McNair camp, and he was this big quarterback, and I played quarterback at the time, so he was just teaching me like just the fundamentals on how to drop back. He was a big quarterback and strong. He had a strong arm.
That guy started as a true freshman.
Yes, yeah, I remember because I used to play it on college all the
Yeah.
time. So man, you know,
Yeah.
I know.
NCAA.
Yeah, NCAA, man, you was on the game, man. You got to play on the game.
I always tell people, man, I feel blessed. Although we all had those big dreams.
Yeah.
I tell my kids this. I didn't do what I wanted to do, but I ended up what God wanted me, man.
Absolutely.
And that's on the sidelines.
Man, yeah, man. So man, you know, you had a successful career since now. Was you playing D-line at the time?
D tackle,
man. Any bowl games experience?
We played in the first New Orleans Bowl.
Okay.
We played in the first New Orleans Bowl.
Okay.
Again, you know.
That's close to home. That's really a home
That's
game.
what I say. So regardless, and I try to tell kids before you throw in that towel, man, you can't take away from the experiences. We didn't have a great year. We were co-conference champions. Ended up in the New Orleans Bowl.
Who y'all tied with?
TCU.
Was he gone? Danny was gone at night.
Yeah, Danny was gone.
Because I remember me and Ryan was talking last week. So who was the quarterback in 2000? Prentice.
Yeah.
He ended up transferring on to FAMU back in the day.
Yes, sir.
I remember
Yes,
some
sir.
his story.
You own it, man.
Yeah. So you got to play against him, man. He was great.
Yeah, he was a big quarterback. We had Big Ben, and you know that was our rival game. It wasn't Conference USA, but Big Ben was our rival.
Yeah.
game, so.
Yeah, dude, so talk about that game.
He dealt with us.
Yeah. Was he Big Ben then, or was he?
He was Big Ben, but he was like Ben. Like a lot of people don't know, Ben Rothko was an athlete.
Yeah.
He was a big athlete.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
I tackle.
Back then, about 230. I seen him still form some guys that played in the league.
Come
you know
on,
what I'm
man.
saying? So I knew when he got drafted. I said Pittsburgh got a quarterback.
Yeah.
And I knew it was when D'Angelo Williams got drafted. I said Carolina got Steele.
Yeah. You trying to get some studs to come on.
Yeah, some guys that, you know, back then, you know, and I always, you know, and another blessing was to play with guys like Rod, you know, although he was on the defensive side, but, you know, playing against Rod in high school,
Yeah.
just watching his growth and Ronald Jones, you know what I'm saying?
That was dope. That's dope.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
Cincinnati was one of the first teams to run the spread, like a true spread.
It was true spread. It was true spread. Gino ran it, man. He ran
Was
it.
his dad on the staff too?
No,
Or
sir.
his dad was a high school coach.
His dad did a lot of strength training.
Okay.
Professional guys and stuff
Gotcha.
like that.
I remember the little stories, you know, they tell the backstory.
Okay, yeah. So he's been a pro for a long time, in my eyes. But he's doing a great job with this offensive coordinator, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. So, you know, after your senior year, you graduate and get all that. Did you get the opportunity to work out for the NFL? Or?
Man, I had, I messed up in the college experience. The lack of guidance. I should have redshirted when I got there. I broke my hand, but I was in a rush to play. I was in a rush to play, so I played one hand my junior year up there. And come back the next year, me and a guy, you know, we rotate the line. So my rotation was with a guy named Mike Wright, played 8 years in the league. But I worked out for 5 teams, man, and it didn't work out for me. And I came home and I was going to go play arena ball down in New Orleans at the time,
Voodoo, right.
And I always say, guy had other plans.
Yeah.
I had just turned 23, got in a car accident. Got in a car accident and tore some ligaments in my ankle. Come to find out, I ain't have insurance on the car. I tell my kids that I'm mentoring, man, I started out 20,000 in the hole in my first job. I had to pay that.
After not paying for school, like you
Yeah.
blessed not to pay for school.
Started out 20,000 in the hole. So, hey, like I always say, God had other plans. I'm sitting here trying to chase this dream and go play.
That's not what
that ain't what I want to play, son. You got to put them cleats up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You put the cleats up, but you picked up the whistle, right? What led you to get to that?
man, I don't. You know, I could sit here and try to name and say, well, this guy, but I was back home in my old neighborhood, and I seen kids walking through the neighborhood, and I said, man, I gotta help these kids because they work so and we work. So that's what pushed me to start dealing with kids, and I was dealing with one kid in particular, and he was like, "Fee, you need to coach." You know, our kids call me Fee. Like, you need to coach. I like, you think so? I didn't think it was gonna be this long. I said, well, I'll come out there and help out. And so the kid, actually name was Jonathan Billington. He played ball at Jackson State and everything. That's one of the first kids I mentored along with a lot of other ones. And I started coaching because of him. I said, you know, to help him. And it led to, one thing led to another, man. I always tell people, God will pull you to where he wants you to be, so. And that's how I started back in 2006, my first season coaching high school football.
Wow.
I was a school resource officer.
Okay.
I had just come out of police academy.
Man, okay.
But God bless me, I didn't have to patrol the streets I grew up in.
Right.
He said, I'm gonna put you in a school, son.
Yeah.
Put me at elementary school, Nixon Elementary, and I would leave work and head over to Picayune Stadium and coach. And so I went on back and got my master's degree, got my teacher certification, and the next year I got put in my alternative school, Picayune.
As you've been coaching ever since, man. That's amazing, man. For them to put you back, for God to put you back in that situation to help you when you ran the same streets, you went to the same high school, same elementary. It really is a blessing to go back to your community and help, man. That's just amazing. It's a feeling you can't explain, man.
No, I really can't. I'm grateful, man. I said the other day, I'm not living my dream, but I'm living a dream. I always tell people I want to be Joe Clark. I want to be Dr. Clark. But God said, man, I'm gonna put you out here on these sidelines, boy, and I'm gonna see you there. Never thought about being a head coach. I just worked, man. And it was really with the kids, though, just working with kids, man. And everything I learned from the kids,
Absolutely.
So
how long did you stay at Picayune?
Man, I worked at Picayune for 6 years, man. I did football and track. Track and field. That's my first track field, my first head coaching job.
Okay.
And after we won state championship in 2011, I went up to Pearl River Central.
Right.
The rival school, and I worked there for 4 years.
Gotcha.
And we played for the South State Championship this past week in 2012.
Yeah.
And then in 2015, they won the first district championship in 20 years. Now they be a part of them beating my own model for the first time in 20 years.
What years Wyatt played there?
Wyatt was a junior when I left.
Okay.
Actually, you can ask him, one of his first personal training lessons with me in his front yard.
Oh, that's awesome.
I trained a few kids in his front yard, and that's when I started doing training on the side.
Okay.
But yeah, Wyatt was the quarterback, and and it was hard for me to leave there, but God pulled me to Stone County,
man. So talk about that experience after you do the whole process, the interview process, and you get the phone call from the administration. How did that feel?
Man, I didn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I never forget. I got the phone call, sitting in the living room, and it said, "This is Greg Allen for the athletic director of Stone County." And I said, "Yes, sir. What you call it? What's up?" You got it. You're the head coach.
Yeah.
And I was walking in the garage, and I sat down, and I had some boxes and stuff. Kids, I would train my own kids in the garage. I said, "What?" He said, "You the head coach." And, I couldn't believe it, but it was a feeling of joy, but I knew it was time to go to work.
Yeah.
I knew it was time to go to work.
Absolutely, man. So, that was a historical hire. I don't believe, you could correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I can go, my memory is maybe the late 80s. Stone County's never had a black coach. Do you realize it was bigger than you? You're opening doors for minorities. I didn't even read the shirt. It was bigger than ball, as your shirt said. Did you realize that?
Man, I knew that from the time I stepped on the field, that it wasn't about football, but didn't really know. But once I started to get to understand, I knew it was bigger than football. And I always tell people what I do, the sacrifices and stuff, whatever I gotta go through, I'm not doing it for me. I may not reap the reward to somebody will.
Absolutely.
So yes, I was well aware and reminded of that. And I'm a historian of the game. Picayune, Mississippi, where we have legendary Carver High School. Carver High School. Carver High had Coach Henley. Coach Henley won. I don't want to get it wrong, but that record stood for 60+ wins for a long time to South Dakota broke. And I heard the stories of him growing up. My grandmother knew everybody loved Coach Henley, and when things happened, he didn't, he never got a chance to be a head coach once he was in he is in the Mississippi Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
So yes, I understood the man too. I will say I do, but you know, it was a blessing, man. I understand the blessing, you know, and I'm grateful and thankful.
Yeah, and definitely grateful, man. Glad you're in a position to open doors up for, you know, it's gonna be a kid like you. Right now, I'm looking at, you know, Coach Feaster. Man, I want to be a head coach one day because you never know. Because you're in it. You have a mission to lead young men. You know, coaches to lead young men. You just know that's your mission. But as you doing your mission, is some kid or some young lady watching you lead people.
And that's what I tell. I try to tell my players, and I try to make sure us as a staff, you know, hammering home, man. It's bigger than you. It's not about you. You don't know who's watching. You don't know who's impacted.
Right.
So kids, people that's watching you take stuff literally. So you have to be careful. You know what you're doing. So I understand that, and that's what it's all about. You know, my goal was always to have a staff where I had former players. I got 2 of my former players that's on staff with me right now. Been blessed to usher in some other guys in the profession, but man, that was always my goal. Because for me, man, I hate to get too personal, but you know, like I say, I couldn't afford to get in games growing up all the time. My mama was a single parent. She was a janitor at Southside Elementary, which was Old Carver High. So there was times I couldn't get in the game, but living at that time before we moved back to the east side, I lived in the projects, right across the Carver High, 601 Little Circle. And I would have to stand out there, and you could hear the names being called. But again, mama couldn't always get me in the game. And I'll never forget, I wanted to be a water boy. But again, my mom was just a janitor. You should know, I was playing Little League football at the time, and I wanted to be a water boy, and I wasn't afforded the opportunity. That stick by me. You know, that's something I always try to make sure that I don't rub them young men the wrong way. And so it's a big deal to me.
Absolutely.
It's a big deal.
And it shows, man, you just had one of the best seasons since 1990. Somebody's on your coach staff, Coach Henry. Mark Henry, man.
The legend,
6'6".
Big brother.
6'6". They call him 6'6" at all times.
Yes, sir.
Great. I got to take a picture with him and Fred McNabb
Yes,
at a
sir.
camp. AD had a camp at USM. I got to take a picture with him. So
Yes, sir.
I'll put that in the frame. I need his autograph. I need to meet him.
Matter of fact,
I want to really meet him.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll give you his picture from the Raiders.
Come on, man. Yeah, he played tight end back in the day.
Yes, sir. I got you, bro.
Yeah, I need that. And then the guy that I work out with the gym, Damon Felder, both of them went to Alcorn, so they know each other.
Okay, yeah.
So I definitely need that picture, man. And I need yours, man.
I got you. I'll bring you one by here before the week out.
Yeah, you got to sign for it too.
Yes, sir. I got you, man. I got you.
But man, what I was saying is, man, y'all, first district championship in 30 years. 1994, I believe it was.
28 years from the district championship.
28 years, okay.
And 31 years.
31 years since the South State.
Since South State. It's been 31 years since anybody played a game past the second round in high school. So we were blessed to play 4 home playoff games. Our kids got a lot of what you would call monkeys off their backs.
Yeah.
They can take the deep breath and say, man, you know what, we left the bed and we found it.
Yeah.
And they made a huge run. We won 9 in a row.
Yeah.
And our theme all year, man, was God did.
Yeah.
Man, I'm a music guy. So
Yeah, absolutely.
When that album dropped,
Yeah.
you go back and check my, I can repost it. When that album dropped that Friday, man, I put up a story of me and my sons, because what God made me do is take a step back and say, listen, I need you to dig deep and get back to where you were when you came into this.
Absolutely.
It's not, the scoreboard doesn't determine your win, loss, you already won. You ain't supposed to be here according to the standard set up on by society. And I posted the break for something, me and my sons. I said, I'm going to embrace this journey. I'm going to embrace this journey the rest of the way. And so, again, that was our motto, man. Nobody believed in us. We didn't, man, if I could, it's a whole nother interview to tell you the obstacles. We had to overcome, man, just to make it Friday sometimes, but God did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely,
man. It showed, man. God definitely blessed you guys, man. That was big. I mean, Mendenhall always was a tough team. Y'all held your own. Y'all held your own, man. I will say that much, man. I enjoyed the game. I came to support you in the Stone County Tomcats, man, and really appreciate everything you do for everybody, man. And I don't know, I keep saying it over and over, man. I just want to stress that. And then, you becoming a friend of mine now. We talk more than this ain't the only time we talk. We definitely text every now and then, whether it's once a week or not, man. But I know you're gonna keep getting better, man. I just want you to keep on with the hard work you're doing with those players and those coaches. Keep understanding your mission. That's all I understand. I know you, and I know you do.
That's the key, but you have to be reminded. You know, I be having my wife reminds me.
Absolutely.
You know, when I'm down by the loss, she said, you gotta remember what you said. So and my biggest thing with the kids, we gotta stand on what we said we was gonna stand on. You know, before it got rough. And so I'm thankful and grateful to the community of Stone County, the administration of Stone County. But I always tell people, my loyalty lies with my kids, and I'm forever grateful and thankful for all the kids that I've coached through my whole career. I'm extremely grateful for the kids of Stone County. I love y'all just like I've always loved all the kids that I coached. But you know, they're gonna hold a special place because they took that.
They set the foundation.
They set a new foundation. They put it down on, and like you always say, they put it on the bedrock.
Yeah.
So those kids, man, are phenomenal kids. We had a phenomenal coach staff. And when I write that book one day, you know, when we put this coach staff together, we'd have never thought that this would be the staff to do it because the way things kind of went in place, man. But you know, forever grateful and thankful, man. If you don't want nothing from Coach Feaster, he's forever grateful and thankful of every individual he's crossed paths with on this journey, the good and the bad.
Absolutely.
So, appreciate you, brother, for having me on.
I'm forever grateful.
I always tell people, man, I want to shed light on the trenches, man. I wasn't supposed to be here. God bless me to be here.
You're supposed to be here.
Well, I
that's what people say that though, but no, you are supposed
you're right,
to.
man.
This is where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, so God bless me to make it through all the circumstances that was handed upon us growing up and the things we fight through. But you know, my fight spirit go back to my mother, Eleanor. I wear her on my shoulder every Friday night. I wear the first Bible scripture she ever taught me, Psalm 23, every Friday night pregame warm-ups. Wear it sometime in the game, but you know, it's my heart and you know, my family, man, my wife, for allowing me to do what I do.
Absolutely.
But it's gonna always be big and involved. I understand that mission. I appreciate what y'all doing down here in this community, shining light on these kids. And sometimes won't have that light, you know, and this is what sometimes get us through, man. You never know. You never know. So
yeah, absolutely, man. And you told me off camera, man. Your wife name is Keisha, my wife name is Keisha. Shout out to Miss Keisha.
My sister named Keisha.
Keisha, sister named Keisha.
Yeah, it's
I got a cousin named Keisha, man. I got a god sister named Keisha. So man, Keisha's a dope name.
Yes, sir.
But man, I ain't gonna hold you on. I know you gotta get to work tomorrow, man.
Oh,
it won't be the last time. It won't be the last time,
man. Like I say, I never turned down a moment to shine light on where I'm from.
Absolutely.
East side of PPU.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. East side PPU.
Shine a bright light, man. Wish them well Friday in their path to
win that state title, man.
Yeah,
man. Show them most definitely, man. Good luck, PPU, man. Okay. Man, this is Bob McClellan, man. Coach Feaster, man. John Feaster, man. Thank you for coming again, man. See you next time.
All right, bro. Thank you,
Appreciate
man.
that, man.
Yeah, Chico, talking to the bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico, you're talking to the bad guy. Toothpicking your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, y'all. Look, something happened to these, something happened to you, okay?